Now, because these two elements here in the set A have a single image B, okay, it is distinct definitely, but because the image is the same, therefore it is not one to one. In this case, what is this function called? This function is called a many to one function. See here I have written, if a function is not one to one, then it is called a many to one function. So after, if you check whether a function is one to one or not, and if you see that the function is not one to one, then you can easily say that it is many to one. Okay. Now, what is the mathematical way of checking whether a function is one to one? The mathematical way of checking a function is one to one is given here in the working rule. If you see here, this is the working rule. Now, what is the working rule? The working rule here is if fx1 is equal to fx2, means x1 equal to x2, then we say that fx is 1 to 1. Okay, this is the mathematical way of checking. Or the other way is, which is not a very convenient mathematical way, this is a very convenient mathematical way. The other way is that x1 not equal to x2 implies fx1 not equal to fx2. Okay, this is another way of checking where obviously x1 x2 belongs to A, which belongs to the set A. Okay, so with this we can check whether a function is injective or not, that is whether a function is one to one or many to one. So let's see the exam problem that I have given you here on one to one. See here, find whether the following functions are one to one or not. Look at number one. Given here f r to r defined by fx is equal to x cube, where x belongs to R, obviously, because the set A here is R and the set B here is also R. Okay, so if you draw somewhat like this will be your R, the set A, and this will also be your set R. Okay, so now how do you check? The mathematical way, I say let x1, x2 belong to R. That is the set A. Okay, now what is fx1 here? Fx1 here is x1 cube, right? And what is fx2 here? It is x2 cube, right? Now what if fx1 is equal to fx2? Now fx1 is equal to fx2. What does this mean? This means x1 cube must be equal to x2 cube, right? Does x1 cube equal to x2 cube mean x1 is equal to x2? We'll see. x1 cube minus x2 cube is equal to 0, right? Now what you do is, this is a cube minus b cube form. So a minus b into a square plus ab plus b square equal to 0. That means either x1 minus x2 is equal to 0 or x1 square plus x1 x2 plus x2 square is equal to 0. That means either x1 is equal to x2 or x1 square plus x1 x2 plus x2 square is equal to 0. That means that if fx1 is equal to fx2, then it does not definitely mean x1 is equal to x2. x1 is equal to x2 may be one of the options, right? But what is the other option? This. That means fx1 is equal to fx2 does not definitely imply that x1 has to be equal to x2, right? So that means what can I say? Therefore, x1 is equal to fx2 does not necessarily imply x1 is equal to x2. Hence, f, the given function, f is not 1 to 1, right? And if it is not 1 to 1, then what can you say? F is many to 1. Many to 1 function. Okay. So that should be clear. Move on to the next one. Second one. Given f z to z, that is the set of integers. So here the set A is z and the set B is also z. So here set A is z and the set B is also z, set of integers, right? Defined by fx is equal to x square plus 5, where x belongs to A, which is the set z, right? Set of integers. So we have, I say, start by saying let x1, x2 belong to the set A, that is the set of integers. Okay. So therefore, fx1 is equal to fx2. Means what? What is the value of fx1? It is x1 square plus 5. And what is the value of fx2? It is x2 square plus 5. So now you get x1 square must be equal to x2 square. So does this mean x1 is equal to x2? May not be, because x1 square minus x2 square is equal to 0. This means x1 plus x2 into x1 minus x2 is equal to 0. That means either x1 plus x2 is equal to 0 or x1 minus x2 is equal to 0. That means either x1 is equal to minus x2 or x1 is equal to x2. That means again you have two options. That is fx1 is equal to fx2 implies either this or this. But definitely you cannot say this, right? So therefore, you say that f is not 1 to 1. F is not 1 to 1 or injective function. That is, f is not an injection. Okay. And if f is not 1 to 1, then what is it? F is a many to 1 function. Okay. So that is the second one. Let's move to the third one. Given here, f r minus the singleton set 3. That is, from all the real numbers, you remove the set 3. That is all the real numbers except 3 to the set R. So the set A here is all the real numbers except 3. And the set B is all the real numbers defined by fx is equal to 5x plus 7 divided by x minus 3, where x belongs to the set A, which is R minus 3. Okay. Now we want to check whether this is an injection or not. Okay. So I start by saying let x1, x2 belong to the set A, which is the set of real numbers except 3, right? So therefore, what is fx1 is equal to fx2 imply? Fx1 is equal to fx2 means 5x1 plus 7 divided by x1 minus 3 is equal to 5x2 plus 7 divided by x2 minus 3, right? Now you cross multiply 5x1 plus 7 into x2 minus 3 is equal to 5x2 minus 7 into x1 minus 3. Okay, now you multiply on both sides to get 5x1 x2 minus 15x1, okay, plus 7x2 minus 21 is equal to 5x1 x2 minus 15x2, and then you have minus 7x1 plus 21. Okay, so what happens? 5x1 x2 both cancel from both the sides. Okay, now you have take x1 on all on one side. Okay, so you have plus 21 and minus 21 also. Okay, okay, plus 7 and x2 minus 3. This is okay, this is 5x2 plus 21, so this will become minus 21. Okay, this is minus 21. So as a matter of fact, this minus 21 and this minus 21 will also cancel. So now take all x1s on one side. You're going to get minus 15x1 plus 7x1 is equal to minus 15x2 minus 7x2, right? So you're going to get I think this sign will here, one sign will also change here. 5x1 x2 minus 15x2, this should be a plus. 7x1, yes, this should be a plus sign here. Okay, so if you're taking x1 on the other side, this will also become minus. Okay, so you are getting minus 22x1 is equal to minus 22x2. That means you're getting x1 is equal to x2. So what you see here, that fx1 is equal to fx2 I started with, and I have shown that x1 is equal to x2. Then what can I say? Then here I can say, hence, f is a one-to-one or injective function. That is, f is an injection. Okay, so as simple as this. Let us move on to the next problem. Any question till this part? Number 4. F R to R, the set A is R, set B is also R. So given here, F R to R defined by fx is equal to mod x. I have already mentioned to you what mod is, right? If you remember mod, I told you mod of minus 2 must be equal to 2. And if you have mod of a positive number, let's say if you have mod of half, it becomes half, right? So that is what mod means. Okay. So here, I start by saying let x1, x2 belong to the set A, which is R. Therefore, fx1 is equal to fx2 means what? Fx1 is equal to fx2 means mod x1 must be equal to mod x2, right? Now, if mod x1 is equal to mod x2, does it imply x1 is equal to x2? It does not imply x1 is equal to x2. Why? Because mod of -2 is equal to mod of 2, right? Both are equal to 2. But does it imply 2 is equal to 2? Sorry, does it imply -2 is equal to 2? That is, this is equal to this, the inside variable in the, or the inside number in the mod? No. So therefore, mod x1 is equal to mod x2 does not imply x1 is equal to x2. Hence, f is not one-to-one or injective function. That is, f is not an injection. And if f is not an injection, what should it be? What should it be? Another note. F is many to one function. Fine. So that finishes your injective part. We now move on to the next part, which is surjections or surjective functions. Okay. Now look at this. What are surjective functions? Now, in case of surjective functions, if you have two sets, if I have, let's say, an element x here, an element y here, an element z here, and if I have an element a here and b here, okay. If I map this element to this by this relation f, then x, then sorry, the a, let's call this set a and b. I mentioned this to you earlier also, that here x, sorry, a belongs to b is called the image of x belongs to a, right? Now, what do you, if a is called the image of x, then what is x called? X belongs to a is called the pre-image. Okay. The object, in fact, is called the pre-image of a belongs to b. Okay. So x, so a here is the image of x. And what is x here called? This is called the pre-image of a. Okay. Right. Pre-image of small a. Pre-image of a. Okay. So once we know the concept of image and pre-image, now we'll define what a surjective function is. Now a function f a to b is called onto or surjective if every element in the set B has a pre-image in A. Maybe may not be distinct, remember. Okay, but every element must have a pre-image. So if we see here in the set B, this element has this pre-image and it has this pre-image, right? So images are not distinct. One element in B has two pre-images, so that is okay. It may not be distinct, remember. Okay, this element has a pre-image this, and this element has a pre-image this. Okay, so therefore, if every element in the set B, every element, okay, not one element should be left out. If every element in the set B has a pre-image, may not be distinct, then it is called an onto function or a surjective function. Okay. See, I have also given you an example here. This is a surjective function, if you see, because 4 here has an image -2 and it has an image 2. Therefore, does not have a distinct pre-image. That is okay. We don't need distinct pre-image. Okay. We just need a pre-image, that every element must have a pre-image. See that 4 and 9 are the only two elements in B, and both of them have pre-images, right? So therefore, they are not distinct definitely, but all of them have in the set B. So therefore, this function f is called a surjective function. Okay. So how do you check whether a function is surjective? Let us see with the help of an example. Uh, how to check whether a function is surjective. See, I've given you the working rule here. Okay. Um, in this case, if you want to check whether a function is surjective, if you have y is equal to fx as a function, okay, sorry, fx as a function, okay, suppose you have fx as a function given, then what you do here is you assume y is equal to fx, and then you proceed to check whether it's surjective or not. Let's see how, with the help of an example, how to check whether a function is surjective. Look at the first one. Given f r to r defined by fx is equal to x cube plus 5, where x belongs to the set A. Both set A and B both here are the set of real numbers. Okay. How do you check whether this is surjective? Okay. So what you do here is, in order to start, you assume let y is equal to fx. That means what do you get? Y is equal to x cube plus 5. Right. Now you find x in terms of y. So what you do here is you find out x cube is equal to y minus 5. That means what do you get? X is equal to y minus 5 to the power of 1 by 3, or you also say x is equal to cube root of y minus 5, right? Now you check whether each element has a pre-image or not. Now whatever is the value of y minus 5, it is a cube root, right? Whether positive, negative, or 0. Will it give you a value of x? Yes, it will give you, whether y minus 5 is positive or negative. It will definitely give you some value of x, may not be distinct, right? So for every y belongs to R, there exists a distinct, not distinct, there exists a pre-image. There exists a pre-image in R, right? Hence, we say that f is an onto or surjective function. That is, f is a surjection. Okay. We'll see the next problem. Number 2. Given f r to r defined by fx is equal to x square plus 3, where x belongs to the set A, which is a set of real numbers. We want to check whether this is a surjection or not. So I say let y is equal to fx. That means y must be equal to x square plus 3. Now what I do here is I find x in terms of y. So I say y minus 3 is equal to x square. That means x must be equal to square root of y minus 3. Now this is interesting. If x is equal to square root of y minus 3, now will every element in the set B have a pre-image in A? No. Why? Because for if y minus 3 is negative, then what will happen? For y less than 3. For y less than 3, if y, can you have the square root of a negative number. Suppose these two are your sets A and B. This is a set R. This is a set of real numbers. Okay, so if square root of y minus 3 is negative, let us say square root of minus 5. First of all, will square root of minus 5 be real? Not here. Let's say, let's take y is equal to 8. So y is equal to 8. 8 minus 3, let's say minus y minus 3. Let's say y is equal to um, let's say y is equal to minus 2, right? For y is equal to minus 2, what is the value of x here? Square root of minus 5. Is square root of minus 5 real? The set A has to be real, right? Is this real number? This is a complex number, right? So therefore, this element minus 2 does not have an image, a pre-image, right? So similarly, for every element you can see, for every element that is in the set B, that is R, if y is less than 3, they will not have an image. You can check for, let's say, y is equal to, let's say 2.9. You can put 2.9 here, 2.9 minus 3. You'll get minus 0.1. Square root of minus 0.1. Will it have an image? It is a complex number, right? So similarly, for every real number which is less than 3, you can check that it does not have a pre-image. So for y minus 3 less than 0, that is y less than 3, there is no pre-image. There is no pre-image in R. Hence, we say f is not onto or not a surjective function. That is, f is not a surjection. Okay. Let's see the last one from surjections. Number 3. F z to z, that is the set A is an integer, set B is also an integer, defined by fx is equal to 5x minus 9, where x belongs to the set of integers, the set A, right? How to check whether this is surjections? Very similarly, I assume let y is equal to f. That means I get y is equal to 5x minus 9. That means I get, now I want to find x in terms of y. So I see that x must be equal to y plus 9 by 5. Right? Now you see, this is the set of integers. This is the set of integers. Okay. Let us say y is equal to 1 here. Is 1 and if you put here 1 plus 9 by 5, which you're getting as 2. So 1 has a pre-image. This is okay, right? 1 has a pre-image. Now let's say if you take y is equal to 2, 11 by 5. Is 11 by 5 an integer? 11 by 5 is not an integer. So therefore, this element will not have a pre-image. That means, what does it say? This means that for every y, means for every y belongs to a set of integers, there is no pre-image. No pre-image in Z. Right? Hence, F is not and onto function. That is, f is not a surjection. But however, if I now change the definition of this function, suppose if I give you f r to r instead of f z to z, suppose if I had given you the same function, but I change the set a and b to real numbers, will it be surjective? Yes, in that case it will be surjective, because if you put 2 here now, 2 plus 9 by 2, which is equal to 11 by 5. 11 by 5 is real. So 11 by 5 will, so 2 will now have a pre-image here, which is 11 by 5. If I change this definition from Z to R. Okay. So it entirely depends on the definition of set A and B also. It does not always mean if a function is not surjective, if you change the definition of A and B, then the function may be surjective. Okay. It is not that 5x minus 9 will never be surjective. Okay. It can be surjective also. Fine. And there's no note here that if f is not a surjection, then it is called an into function. That is, if f is not an onto function, then it is called an into function. So if you see here, f is not an onto function. So what can you say about f? F z to z defined by fx is equal to 5x minus 9, x belongs to z, is an into function, because since it is not an onto function, it has to be an into function. Okay. So that finishes your surjection part. Now we come to one-to-one onto or bijective function. Now you will require the definition of both one-to-one and onto function here. If a function, if you check whether if you check whether a function is one-to-one, and then you check whether a function is onto. If you find that the function is one-to-one as well as it is onto, then we say that the function is one-to-one onto or bijective, or we simply say it is a bijection. And what does it mean in terms of this mapping here, this diagram here? That means, it simply means that every element in the set A every element in the set A will have an image. Okay. So every element in A has an image in element B. And if you see, it has, every element has a distinct image. So there is one-to-one correspondence. Okay. One element in A has one element image in B. Okay. And one element, each element in A has one image in the set B. So this is a one-to-one onto function. Okay. So that is the definition of one-to-one onto. How do you convert that in case of problems? How do you do it? You simply show, if function is given to you, you show that it is one-to-one, which I've already shown you how to show, and you show that it is an onto function, which I've already shown you how to show, and you check both whether it is one-to-one and onto, and then you can say that it is a bijection or a one-to-one onto function. Okay. So I'll stop here then.